Good evening. I'm Türkmen, a marine ecologist from Turkey. I'm working as a researcher in projects of various institutes and NGOs. Today, I'm going to talk about two projects of Ecological Research Society as examples of ecosystem-based marine spatial planning. Next slide, please. Iskenderun Gulf is located at the northeastern corner of the Mediterranean Sea. There are important ecosystems in and around this gulf. These ecosystems include a large lagoon and a wetland area. There's also one Ramsar site and an important international bird area. There's also a national park and some nesting beaches for sea turtles. And the Gulf is a major fishing area as a whole. On the other hand, this Gulf hosts an important part of the industrial activities of Turkey. There are two marine terminals for international crude oil pipelines and some power plants, heavy industry such as iron and steel, and a high-capacity port related to these industrial activities. Next slide, please. In 2002, we started to study the ecological characteristics of the Gulf as a whole. We recorded the important species and key habitats. We also defined the important areas and their interaction regarding the international protection status too. Next slide, please. And based on our ecological studies, we prepared an environmental sensitivity map. This map consists of many large-scale sheets, and they are separately prepared for every key habitat area. This environmental sensitivity map is very comprehensive, and it is one of the first examples from the Eastern Mediterranean region. Next slide, please. Most of these studies were carried out in the context of environmental impact assessment of Baku-Tiflis-Ceyhan crude oil pipeline projects. And all of the contingency plans and oil spill response plans were prepared according to these ecological studies. And the ecological monitoring studies, which started in 2002, they are still being continued by Ecological Research Society. Next slide, please. Like the lagoons of Iskenderun Gulf, there are a total of 17 marine and coastal protected areas on the coasts of Anatolian Peninsula. And among these, only the Finike Seamounts Special Environmental Protection Area is located offshore without any land component. Next slide, please. We have studied many aspects of most of these special protected areas, and among these areas, Gökova Bay and Datça-Bozburun Peninsula are outstanding examples of ecosystem-based planning. In these areas, there are increasing activities of many sectors of blue growth, and therefore, there's a requirement for good practices of ecosystem-based planning. Next. The ecology of Gökova Bay is studied comprehensively, and as a result of these studies, 6 no-fishing zones were suggested. And they actually started, legally started in June 2010. And in these no-fishing zones, we determined all of these zones with full collaboration with the local stakeholders, fishers, and fishing cooperatives. Datça-Bozburun Peninsula is the other protection area, and it is located on the southern side of the Gökova Bay, and there are 4 no-fishing zones in that area too. Apart from these no-fishing zones, all fishing activities generally are regulated inside the special environmental protection area. And we also believe that Gökova and Datça-Bozburun protected areas can be good examples as specially protected areas of Mediterranean importance under the definition by Barcelona Convention. Next slide, please. In order to determine the ecological characteristics of these protected areas, we prepared detailed habitat maps for each no-fishing zones. And in these habitat maps, we recorded key species such as patterns of Posidonia oceanica, as well as fish reproduction and feeding spots. We also monitored the population dynamics of fish species of economical importance and compared the results between no fishing zones and free areas. After 1 year of inception of no fishing zones, the total fish abundance increased 27%. Next slide, please. As Ecological Research Society, we have been performing studies in all of the important hotspots of Eastern Mediterranean region, and we are carrying out projects on conservation and monitoring of sea turtles, especially in the protected areas of Anatolian coasts and Cyprus. We develop management plans and monitoring studies for protected areas. And also development of innovative sustainable blue growth projects is also among our recent activities. This is the end of my slides. The mic is yours.